Hey, welcome to day 2 of your metabolism engineering internship researching ingredients. Hey, yesterday we got the chance to play with the recipe test tool quite a bit, right? And we got to figure that all out, and we saw that we had 9 ingredients to work with. Well, today, one of the things that we want to do is we actually want to look a little bit more into what these ingredients are, what benefits they provide, how much they cost, all the things. So first thing you're going to do, though, is you're going to connect to the Futura workspace. We talked about how to do that yesterday. And you're going to read your daily message. You have a message from Amina. She's got some tasks for you. So go find that. Go read that. Let's talk about the daily message just a little bit. It tells us the focus for each day during our internship. So Amina is, again, she's going to give us some tasks. She's going to give us some things to do, a goal for the day. By the end of the day, we want to have done this. Each message will include some key ideas and list deliverables or tasks you need to do. Deliverables are basically like those things that you need to turn in. Like, oh, shoot, that's your checklist, right? I need to make sure I did all these things, and then I know I'm done. So there's deliverables there too. And you are able to make notes about your daily message. It's good to make notes about them so you know what you need to do and keep track, so you keep track of important information. So you can make a note down there in that bottom left. You can give your note title, daily message notes, great. Perfect, maybe put day 2, okay? So read the message. Go ahead and take some notes and record some of those things that you think are most important that are in your daily message today in the Futura workspace. Do that now and come back to me. Great, now you've got notes and you've started your notes, so you can go back to this note and you can keep adding to it every single day when you get your new daily message to take notes on what do I need to do, what do I need to accomplish, what are the goals for the day to help you keep track. Why are we doing this? To give you the experience of what it might be like to actually have an internship position somewhere where you have daily tasks that you have to accomplish, and you are responsible for keeping track of those tasks. And you need to make sure that you are getting them done and that you're keeping track of them. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're doing it. Let's talk about metabolism and food. So discussing metabolism and food. You read chapter 2 of the Food Engineer's Dossier. Chapter 2 talked about metabolism and different types of nutrients that people eat and what they do for people. So we will talk in class a little bit about what we learned so far about metabolism. Some of this we already learned from our metabolism unit. Some of this is a little bit new information. We're just kind of adding to it a little bit. So we're going to apply our knowledge of metabolism as a food engineer now. So we're taking what we learned and we're applying it. Oh, I see. So what we learn about metabolism, what we learn about microbiomes, what we'll learn about in the future, it's not just, oh, let's learn this just to learn this. We actually have applications for it. There are actual jobs that people do where they are taking what they've learned, just like you, and they're using it in the job that they end up having someday. You could use what you are learning in 6th grade science someday in your job, and you never knew it. Some of you won't. Let's just be real, right? But some of you might. And there are very real applications for all of this stuff that we are using. So you will apply your knowledge of metabolism as a food engineer so you can design a Futura bar that will meet the metabolic needs of people in disaster areas. Everyone has different metabolic needs. This is important because this is going to determine the direction you go with your Futura bar, depending on how much they are growing, if they are sick or hurt, or depending on what activities they are expected to perform. Different people are going to have different needs. Some people might need more glucose. Some people might need more starches. Some people might need more proteins, depending on what state they are in. So let's talk about this. In fact, I'm going to ask you next time we meet, let's have this discussion. What kinds of things would give you immediate energy? What would give you just like quick, immediate energy? What about long-lasting energy? How would we even know? Let's think about what we know about metabolism. Think about what we read just in the last lesson. And what types of things could you eat that help you grow, that have things that have a lot of protein? I'm really curious to hear what you come up with for each of these. Let's talk about this word, the term, glycemic index, a measure of how quickly carbohydrates break down into glucose. So when you make your Futura bars, you will receive a glycemic index level showing how high of a glycemic index it has, whether it's going to break down or convert into energy quickly, or it's going to take a long time. Mr. Wiggin, wouldn't you always want it to break down quickly? Not necessarily. And we're going to talk more about that too as we move forward. So glycemic index is important when thinking about when and for how long energy is needed. Food with a high glycemic index offers immediate energy. Food with a low glycemic index provides longer lasting energy. Okay, so there might be situations where you need energy immediately, right away. There might be situations where you're just going to want that energy like to last you throughout the day or over a couple of hours. So that last thing for this part, how do you feel after you eat high glycemic index foods like candy? I mean, what is the stereotypical picture that you get after you give kids a bunch of candy? Why do you think they might feel that way? This is a great question. We'll talk about this when we meet together as a class. And now let's move on to the next section. Researching different ingredients. So those 9 ingredients that we saw in the Futura bar, the recipe test tool, we're going to research just one of those, actually. We're going to hear about more of them when we come together as a class again, but for now, we're just going to focus on one of them. So to prepare for designing Futura bars, you will work in groups. We're working as a whole group to research how specific ingredients are used in the body to help people meet their metabolic needs. You're going to go to chapter 3 in the dossier. So you can find that in the Amplify library. Where's the Amplify library? Well, let me go actually to one of these other pages. If you click up here, you can find the library. Same place you find like all your sims. You can go to the library, and I typed in Futura, Metabolism. I don't remember what I typed in, but it'll pop up, and you want chapter 3, ingredient information, right there. Okay, so that's where we're at. That's what we're looking at. Also, I have attached these pages. I'm not sure if these will show up in your Futura workspace or not. So I've attached them as PDFs to your lesson, just in case they don't show up in the Futura workspace. You have these. So your instructions are on these 2 pages. There's also a diagram showing what happens to food in the body. Let's review the diagram in detail. Follow the instructions on here. They're very basic. They're very simple. It should not take you very long. Basically, you're just looking at this chart, honestly, to fill in a lot of that information. And then you're asked a couple questions to apply what you've learned from the chart about these ingredients. Let's talk about this chart, this diagram again. So what do we have here? These triangles, they represent proteins, as we see in our key here. We have starches. Proteins get broken down into amino acids in the stomach here, small intestine here, starches into glucose here. They enter our circulatory system from the small intestine. They are taken to every single cell in the body where then they are used. We also have some glucose storage going on here for that extra glucose if we're lucky to have it. All right, so you are going to choose one of those ingredients from the ingredient table in the dossier. And then you're going to research it, answer all those questions, and then we'll come together as a class and we'll talk about those ingredients a little bit more. So that's this part right here that we're talking about. I will ask about the different ingredients. We're going to talk about what was different about what happened to those ingredients. So we know that different molecules do different things. They go different places initially. They break down differently in the body. And then why is it important to consider an ingredient's protein and carbohydrate content and glycemic index when designing health bars? Why do we care about that stuff? Why would that be important? Remember, we're making these for rescue workers. So think about that. Think about that. Why? Okay, we're making this for a rescue worker. What would a rescue worker need? People in disaster situations as well, not just the rescue workers, but also other people in disaster type situations. Last thing is our after hours work. And for this, we are just going back to chapters 2 and 3 in our dossier and we're revising our annotations. Focus on this question right here. How do different nutrients help people meet different metabolic needs? So go back to, again, chapter 2 and chapter 3, look at your annotations, add more annotations, and focus on this question. How do different nutrients help people meet different metabolic needs? go back to the Futura workspace, make sure you've completed all of the deliverables that you've completed your checklist, and then ta-da, we love this part, end of lesson, you're done. Good job, interns. Enjoy not getting paid. Sometimes interns get paid. A lot of times they do. Just, usually not as much. And they do a lot of work. Thanklessly. Okay, bye.